Cinema has many characters. They can be a person, animal, place, or object. They are used to create an escape from reality and immerse us in a different world. Cinema can be used to convey a message or take away from the real world for a brief period of time. This is where the popular film Ghostbusters come in. The universal appeal, likability, story, villain helped make the movie into a success. Another character that contributed to the film's success is none other than the iconic Ectomobile 1. The car has been featured in Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's a tool to help the Ghostbusters on their fight for all the ghosts causing havoc in New York. The Ecto-1 is one of the most iconic cinematic cars of the 1980s. Here's why. The car used for the film was a 1959 Cadillac Meteor Miller. These cars were used as limos, hearses, and ambulances, which makes them more unique. The car's length is 225 inches with a width of 80.2 inches. In other words, this is actually very helpful for the Ghostbusters for all the equipment they need to fight the ghosts. The car itself is very rare, as it's only built with 25 models, which means you have a better opportunity to find a McLaren F1 or even an Aston Martin 177 than you'd have of finding these guys. The car comes with a powerful 6.3-liter V8 engine with 300 horsepower. The top speed for the car is 120 miles per hour. It was also built on a GM factory with a commercial chassis. The car also has tail fin rear and weighs 7,300 pounds. And you just heard a cat meow. That was my cat Midna. In the film, they only used 2 Meteor Millers for filming, and if you count Ghostbusters 2, 3. Let's see the effects of the Meteor Miller. The design of the Ghostbusters rendition of the 1959 Cadillac was from Stephen Dane, who was credited as a hardware consultant for the film. In a 1984 film, Ray, played by Dan Aykroyd, was looking for a car for our fellow heroes to need to catch ghosts with. He finds the Cadillac, which he pays $4,800 for, and said it needed a lot of repairs. And he is quoted by saying that it needs suspension work, shocks, brakes, brake pads, lighting, steering box, transmission, rear end, maybe new rings, also mufflers, and a little wiring, end quote. As an aside, paying $4,800 for a car will either be over 100,000 miles, have been beamed by its owner, and will need a plethora of repairs, unless it's a Honda or a Toyota or a Ford F-150. Those are the tanks of the automotive world. And just like that, it became a viable ally for the Ghostbusters. It's not a sports car, it's not a supercar, just a normal everyday car that came from the 1950s and transitioned to the 1980s as a cinema icon. And that's why this car is easily one of the most beloved and iconic cars of all cinema. The concept of taking an abandoned or frowned upon automobile and making it into a useful tool for the protagonist isn't a new concept, but done right, it proved the theory that nothing is truly dead. It goes back to the motto of, if you take care of the car, it takes care of you. With a little bit of luck and love, it proved to be worthy and very essential for when you need it the most. Think of the Toyota 86 and the initial D, or Sharon Boswell from Tokyo Drift with his revived Mustang with his Nissan Skyline engine. Don't get me started on the Aston Martin DB5 when it came back to James Bond on his missions. The point is that when the car is given a chance, it will provide to be a useful tool no matter what state it is in. The car will make appearances in Ghostbusters 2 and Ghostbusters Afterlife. In Ghostbusters 2, the Ghostbusters were shut down and the car was used as a charity event to show the kids. It was also in bad condition. Seems like this car likes to be in bad condition a lot. The car needed to be remodeled, and as a result, the car was remodeled to its former glory. At one point, the car was actually had smoke coming out of it, and it also had a lot of issues. But knowing the Ghostbusters and knowing Ray's stance, he revived the car to its former glory. The car was then named to Ecto-1A, but eventually was referred back to Ecto-1. In Ghostbusters Afterlife, the car was left in a shed where it was for more than 30 years. And you guessed it, it was in bad condition. I'm gonna have to start calling this car the underdog car because it's always in bad condition and then goes on to be a threat for all the ghosts everywhere. This car is truly special. And when the car is awakened, it turns into an absolute beast and it annihilates all the ghosts that are attacking it, because that's what the Ecto-1 does. Like what Thor said, that's what heroes do. That's what Ecto-1 does. The Ecto-1 is one of cinema's special gems. Its unique look from its real model, surprising V8 engine, and huge cargo space gives it a distinction from other 80s models. While it's not something you see over the hood like the GMC Vendura of 18, it's not as quick as a Ferrari Daytona or Testarossa from Miami Vice. Doesn't have that appealing look like the Smokey and the Bandit and the Knight Rider. Doesn't have the class of DBS of Aston Martin. Doesn't have the impact the Mustang have from Bullitt. But what it does have is a special connection of all three films' audience. Because Ghostbusters have a beautiful and beloved fan base of fans. Some people want to get their own Ecto-1 and make their own Ghostbuster machine. And that is truly special. The connection to its fans, the uniqueness of its look. I want to say this. Thank you, Ecto-1. Thank you, and rest in peace, Ivan Reitman. And thank you, and rest in peace, Harold Ramis. Thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.